Let's see here. Germany is not going to be a European military superpower. Ted has told. Well, explain to me why. Explain to me why you think I'm wrong. I'm pearl clutching. Okay, I'm pearl clutching. Explain to me why you think I am mistaken. Go ahead. We're all ears. Okay, Mr. Watts has responded. They have almost no natural resources, so, and Poland and France will never accept that. So, that's not really a convincing argument because, well, okay, let's deal with your argument here. They have no natural resources. Do you know the reason why the Soviet Union and the Third Reich made a deal? It was because Germany wanted natural resources. Because just like today, Germany didn't have natural resources. Now they have coal. That's a big thing. And the Germans managed to make synthetic petroleum out of coal. And they have an abundance of coal. And you know what? They could still do that. They can also get oil from Romania. They can also get oil from Azerbaijan. They can also get natural gas from Turkey. So I'm not seeing an argument here. At least not a convincing one. They didn't have natural resources when they did World War I and World War II. But they still managed to have a very powerful military. And they can still make synthetic petroleum from coal, as they did during World War II. And they can still get oil from Romania, as they did during World War II. They can still get oil, they can still get natural gas from Turkey. Right now, Turkey has natural gas. So it's not like they're completely helpless. So I'm not really seeing an argument here. World War I was over 100 years ago, and yet, even 100 years ago, they were still able to fight a major war without, as you say here, any natural resources. Same thing can be said for World War II. So why can't they do that in the future? And how many people were involved in World War II? Tens of millions of people were involved in World War II. How many soldiers were involved? How many millions of German soldiers were involved in World War II? How many millions of Soviet soldiers were involved in World War II? You're talking about a lot of people. And yet they were still able to do massive battles, huge, ginormous battles, without, as you say, any natural resources. Very, very impressive. You guys are talking about alcohol. The Nazis invaded the Balkans for the very reason that they needed more oil for the war machine. Historians say it's one of the reasons why Hitler invaded Russia. Yes! Yes! Absolutely right! They had see, this is what happens when people don't read books. The Germans made the deal with the Soviet Union not because they were pro-Russia. The Germans made the deal. What's it called? The deal between the Third Reich and the Soviet Union. Third Reich Soviet deal. What's it called? The Molotov. I always forget this term. The reason why they did the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact was because the Germans wanted Soviet resources, oil, all that good stuff. They don't have natural resources, so they were buying it from the Soviets, and it lasted for a while. It lasted for a while. In the beginning, it was successful. The Germans then invaded the Soviet Union because they said, well, we can just take the territory and then take their resources. Okay, so now we're going from one argument to another. You see, this is why I don't like debating people, by the way. So now, instead of saying, you know what, Ted, damn it, you're right. They did do 2 major world wars, which means that they have the capacity to do another major war if they wanted to. Of course, after doing major building up of their military capacity and capabilities. But now he is going to a different argument. So before it was about resources. Now it's about Germany's testicles. National figurative testicles now. So before it was, they don't have the resources. And I've heard this argument a million times. And I said, okay, easily responded. An easy response to that. Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. It was all about resources. They got the resources from the Soviet Union. Soviet Union invaded Finland. Soviet Union entered Romania. And the Germans said, okay, we got to do something about this because the Soviets aren't going to stop taking territory. So they invaded the Soviet Union. The Nazis went into Romania. They drove the Soviets out of Romania, and then they proceeded to do the systematic massacring of the Jewish population in Romania. This is what happened. They went to the Romanians, and they said, hey, you want to kill Jews? Go ahead. It's open season on them. And that's what happened. And the Holocaust of the Jews began in Romania. And Hitler said, if we don't stop the Soviets, all the Soviets are going to do is take. That's what Hitler said. He never wanted the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, but he was persuaded to agree with the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact because he was told, hey, we need the resources. And the Germans did need the resources. But then the Germans said, hey, instead of buying it, we can just steal the resources. So they did. They went over there, they took territory, and it was about resources. So that is my response. Okay, and that's a valid response, I would say. But now his argument is Germany is pretty much a neutered country. That's a different argument. So now we're going from one argument to another. You see, this is why I don't like debating people. I used to debate people. I've debated a whole bunch of people in the past. It gets exhausting after a while. And the reason why it gets exhausting is because nobody can give and take. Nobody can just say, you know what, that's fucking true. That's true. That's a good point. Everything is, oh shit, he got me. Oh shit, this guy's bringing up facts. Oh shit, this guy actually read books. Oh my god, this guy actually has an education behind his high school diploma. Holy shit, what do I do? Change the argument. I'll just change the argument. Brilliant. This is why I don't like debating people. Some Serbian guy wanted to debate me, and he was adamant about it. He was like, I want to debate you, I want to debate. But he finally got what he wanted. Okay, I'll debate you. And his whole thing was that we should be working with the right wing. The crazy, not the good right wing, but he said we should be working with the crazy right wingers who embrace Sodom, who embrace eugenics, who embrace transhumanism. We should be working with them as allies against woke liberalism. This was his whole argument against me. And I said, okay, that's your position. So I told him, I have boundaries. This is what I told this guy. And you'll see that, you'll hear this in the debate. I told them, I have my boundaries. Right? Now, if there's some Protestant guy who may not be completely correct theologically, but, you know, he's pro-life and he wants to pray in front of an abortion clinic, God bless him, he's a good guy. All right? I'm not talking about that. If some guy comes over and says, we gotta combat the woke left and praise Israel all day, and we must embrace Sodom and transhumanism and worship the ground that Elon Musk pisses on, I'm not gonna work with that guy. I'll confront him. I'll tell him why I think he's full of shit. But I'm not gonna sit there and say, oh, we're allies because we're both against the wokies. That is crazy shit. So he says, no, we should. I said, okay. I asked this guy a simple question. I said, is there a line that you will not cross? He said, yes. He said pedophilia. He said, I will never side with pedophiles. I said, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. That's fair. You don't want to work with pedophiles. Nobody should ever want to work with such demons, right? Monsters, vile people. I said, but you want to work with Jordan Peterson, right? You think we should be allies with Jordan Peterson and his fans and his crowd and all that stuff. Jordan Peterson supposedly is a Christian now. He converted to Christianity, right? Jordan Peterson is allies with Dave Rubin. And Dave Rubin and Jordan Peterson did a speaking tour. And they recently had a discussion together, and you can see this on Twitter/X. Dave Rubin tells Jordan Peterson, oh, remember, Jordan? I had a son with my husband? And remember, Jordan? Oh, by the way, homosexuals can't have kids. They can only recruit. And when they have children by inseminating a woman with a turkey baster, they're farming children. So they can only recruit and farm kids like animals. Okay, so there's that. But Dave Rubin says, oh, remember, Jordan, when I had my son and I called you up and I told you that I wanted to name my son after you? Remember that, Jordan? And remember how you were in tears upon me telling you that I named my son after you? And I told this Serbian guy, would you work with Jordan Peterson knowing that he wept in joy upon hearing that Dave Rubin named his son after him, after Dave Rubin forced a child into the world of Sodom and then named his son after Jordan Peterson? Would you work? Because you just said your boundary is children. Yeah, you're not going to, anyone who does evil things with children, you will not work with them. I said, but you're not. So now we should be in agreement about not working with Peterson and his ilk. And instead of saying, you know what, Ted? Holy shit, I didn't know that. You're right. He says, well, I don't know about Jordan. I don't know. Oh. Really? You see, this is why I don't want to debate people. Because no one can be honest. No one can say, you know what? Shit, you're right. That Jordan Peterson guy is evil. He's not a You're literally throwing your pearls before swine. To debate, and the only reason why I debate people, is content. It's content. That's all it is for me. To me, it's content. It's like, okay, you know what? You want to debate me that badly? Let's do it. It's content. It's a video. Farming kids with turkey basters and frozen embryos sounds like the plot of a sci-fi horror film. It's a dystopian garbage nightmare. And Mr. Peterson, he's okay with it. Not only that, and I brought this up during the debate, Mr. Peterson is an ally with Camille Paglia, who was literally a spokesperson for frickin' NAMBLA. And I brought this up in the debate. I said, your boundary is children. Completely agree with you. That's awesome. What do you say about Jordan Peterson working with someone who wrote a book in defense of pedophilia and who also used to make arguments defending NAMBLA? What say you? Yeah. So there we go. It's just bullshit, guys. You've seen the clip? Yeah. That's why Japan Air Forces invaded Pearl Harbor. They wanted American resources. Hitler invaded Russia because they hated communism. That's part of it, but it's like America going into Ukraine. They also want resources. They wanted living space. That's correct. Absolutely. It's all of the above. It's hating communism, resources, eugenic, racial, living space, ideology. All that stuff is true. Yes, they needed oil. Absolutely. War is fueled by resources. Without resources, you don't got no war. I really don't understand the obsession with Jordan Peterson. Neither do I. Yeah, he's intellectual. He just speaks a lot of mental. You know what it is? It's word salad masturbation. Have you ever seen Jordan Peterson talking? It's just him just showing, oh, look at these word salads that I can make. But this guy is seriously out of touch with modern society, and he hangs around a bunch of freaks. Yeah, he does. I can't get over that video of Dennis Prager frothing over Dave Rubin's homosexual lifestyle. Yep. Then the way every new guy they've been bringing on to Fox News is a sodomite. I mean, it's just so blatantly just obvious that the whole thing is evil and a circus. I read Elon uses turkey. Yeah, I heard about that. Yep. Remember when NAMBLA was a joke? Yeah, and you literally see Jordan Peterson hanging out with a woman who defends pedophilia. And the video has about 3.7 million views, and you read the comments, and almost every single comment is, geniuses. They're geniuses. Greatest minds in history. Go, Prager, not Prager, Peterson and Camille Paglia, wonderful thinkers, geniuses. Oh, for our foundational stones of civilization, Western civilization. Western civilization is what? Pedophilia? Well, I mean, considering that Western civ is founded upon Greek philosophy, I guess I shouldn't be really surprised. Maybe I should just chuck the idea of Western Civ out the window. It's all evil. Guys, don't you realize this whole world is nothing but deception? Not nothing, but it's there's the whole in this thing that we call human life, all right, in this game of life. You have quests, and the quests, they're like the side missions in the game, but you got the deception. And the devil, it's like what St. Peter said. You know, people talk about how, oh, you have these secret societies and they're ruling everything, and everything is ran by the Masons and the Skull and Bones and the Illuminati and all this stuff, and they can't prove really shit. Isn't it amazing that we'll sit there and we'll like obsess over these secret societies? And yeah, I'm sure there's some truth to what these people say, but the big reality is that there's something called satanic influence. And the devil is lurking about like a lion lurking for prey, prowling the earth for prey. And that is the reality, guys. That is, and in this reality of the diabolical, they are satanic deceptions everywhere. And as St. Paul says in his letter to the Corinthians, in 2 Corinthians, he says that the servants of the devil cloak themselves in righteousness. And once you understand that, then you understand that you have to be vigilant. That's what St. Peter says. Be vigilant, for the devil prowls like a roaring lion, looking for whomever he can devour. And so St. Paul warns us in his letter to the Corinthians that the servants of the devil cloak themselves in righteousness. People look at like, oh, the church of Satan. The church, there's the church of, Anton LaVey, the Satanic Bible. That shit's right in your face. There's no deception in the Satanic Bible. There's no deception in the Church of Satan. There's no deception in the LaVeyans and those people. Those people are literally saying we follow the devil. You can't get any more obvious than that. But you have people who come along and they don't say that they're with the devil. They say that they're against the devil. They say that they are against Satanism and that they're against all these things, and they're for Christianity and Christian values and all this stuff. And you have to look at the red flags. If you do not pay attention to the red flags, you will crash into a red flag eventually. You have to read between the lines. And if you don't be surprised to see the horns reveal themselves. Don't be surprised to see it. This world is given into the hand of the wicked, but the meek will inherit the eternal kingdom by the grace of God. Amen. Amen. I think you said once that all the arguments that are not for God are arguments of cultures preparing the way for the Antichrist. Or maybe your dad said that. Both my father and I have said these things, yes. Or something similar to what you wrote there. In fact, many years ago, when I was in high school, I started working on a book called For God or for Tyranny. And to me, I think that's probably the best book that I wrote. It's a really good book. You can get it for on Amazon if you want. If you want, guys, I'll be honest with you. Just write me an email and I'll send you the PDF file. It's a really good book, and I started writing it when I was in high school, and then I finished writing it in 2010. So I started writing it in 2007. So was it 7? I'm pretty certain it was either in 7 or 08, and then finally finished it in 2010. And the whole premise of the book is that if you are not for God, you are for tyranny. And here's the thing is, the worst people are not the ones who come and say, I'm a liberal and I'm woke. Those are not the worst people. They're not. You may want to think that they are. You may think that they are. You may think that you know that they are, but they're not. Those people with the purple hair and the piercings, those are people who just make themselves obvious, and they're just a big show, and then people can point fingers at them and say, oh, look, oh, wokies, oh, libtards. Those people are a joke. I'll be honest with you. They're just a big political circus, and they are there to be a giant piñata for the right wing to bash. And then they bash the piñata, and the candy comes out. And in the case of the Western right wing, the candy is all the views that they get on social media by talking about the wokies. They are not the big deal. In fact, the wokies are literally on their way to extinction. They are on their way out of existence. That is the reality. The worst people, truly, The worst people are the people who come to you and say, you need to change. These are the worst people. They are the people who come to you and they say that they're conservative, they're Christian, they're Republican, whatever, and they say, hey, I agree with you, but you need to change your tone a little bit. Or I agree with you, but you shouldn't talk about this subject because you might alienate possible allies that we can work with against the left. Those are the worst people because those are the people who will subvert everything. So let's say you're against Sodom and you're against eugenics and you're saying, hey, look, eugenics is being promoted by the transhumanist right-wingers in Silicon Valley, Elon Musk. And I heard, and I have to give credit to Candace Owens. She brought up Elon Musk, and she brought up the fact that he's a eugenist. I saw that and I said, oh, good for her. She brought that up. But if let's say you're against Sodom, you're against eugenics and all these things, and you say, hey, look, Elon Musk and Peter Thiel and these people are promoting eugenics. They're promoting the cult of transhumanism. And then you have these people who come around and they say, don't attack Musk. Don't attack Thiel because you might alienate tech bro right-wingers who we can use as allies. These are the worst people ever because in the war against evil, you are against evil no matter who is doing it, no matter if it's lefties or righties, you're against it. And so if these people are hindering you, or if they're trying to hinder you from doing any sort of exposing of that agenda, because the people who are doing that agenda may be right-wing, the people who are trying to hinder you, those are the demons. They're the demons. Because they're trying to stop you from exposing right-wing eugenics. And the reason why that's evil is because the right-wing eugenists are better at cloaking their real agenda, and they are better at embellishing or ornamenting their agenda in a way that may be appealing to conservatives and even to Christians. And so when you are exposing the Elon Musks and you're exposing the Peter Thiels, what you're actually doing is you're exposing a Trojan horse that is used to deceive Christians, that is used to deceive conservatives. And so you're actually going against the biggest devils. The biggest devils aren't the ones who show themselves in front of you. The biggest devils are the ones who push evil while cloaking it as good and righteous. And so you are going against the biggest devils when you are going against the people who St. Paul warns us about, the people who are servants of the devil, who cloak themselves with righteousness. And so you have these so-called Christians and so-called conservatives who lurk around and they say, don't do that, just attack the left. And if you listen to them and you're just attacking the left, what's happening as all you're doing is attacking the left? The right-wing eugenists, the people who cloak themselves under righteousness, the people who cloak themselves under Christianity or some kind of traditionalist ideology, will only get bigger, will only get stronger. So the worst people are the ones who come to you and say, you might be alienating people. Those are the demons. That's the devil. That's it.